Well, I actually did it. We ended up watching the 91st Academy Awards, and we weren't originally planning on it. We were just gonna, lounge around and maybe look at the Academy, like whatever was posted online. And I've told you guys before that it's been a tradition for me ever since 2012 to watch the Oscars, because I'm not a big sports fan or anything, so the Oscars is my version of the Super Bowl. So I naturally couldn't stay away from it. And just before I get into the actual winners, I mostly want to give a few of my thoughts on the show, as well as some other things that preceded it. And as you guys know, I was pissed at the Academy Board for a lot of the choices that they've done over the past year, as many other people have been, so I'm not actually going to go into them. But I will go ahead and say I think that they at least had an okay show this year, despite all the random shit that happened. I even posted on my Facebook for everybody to see, not the one for this channel, but like my personal Facebook page, and I kept posting a bunch of stuff like, where's the hashtag Oscars too political, or something along the lines of, I'd enjoy myself more if they weren't playing the exact same commercials 12 to 10, or 10 to 12 times during the commercial breaks, because we just kept seeing the exact same ones, especially for this show called Whiskey Cavalier. By the 8th time, I was already done with this show. I was originally curious to watch it, or I was curious. Sorry, I don't know how to word this. I was curious about the show, and I was interested in possibly watching it, but after seeing all the trailers, I don't care about it anymore. And not only that, it was mostly the same stupid Walmart commercials. A couple of them repeated, but a few others shown at different times, but it was basically for the same thing. And then a shit ton of Verizon commercials. I really hated that. And also, I actually wish that the majority of the thing, there are some parts that are scripted. I'm okay with the scripted parts, but when it's fully scripted, even in parts that sound like it should be, that should be kind of improv and should be from the actual, formed from the thoughts of the person speaking, and then they show time and time again that it is blatantly scripted, then it just comes across as just not genuine at all. And I really hated those moments, especially because there were many cringy moments, especially in the scripted areas. Hell, you had Awkwafina, who I don't know who Awkwafina is personally, and then you have John Mulaney, who's one of my favorite stand-up comedy people. And you put them together, and they're just like, oh my god, this place is awesome, and I'm just so scared, I don't know what to do, and they're obviously doing an act. I'm like, why are you doing this sort of thing? And, like, Mallory was the first one, my wife, Mallory, was the first one to point it out, was just, these are two very funny people, why would you not let them be themselves, basically? Hell, I've heard that they're both fairly good at improv, so why not just let them improv? I don't understand any of that. But it did get better, especially with the, like maybe the last 6 or 7 categories that they actually presented. And because of that, it actually offset my feeling, because the first half of the night I was just feeling weird, and now that I saw the last bit, which was kind of awesome overall, I feel like that this was at least an overall okay year as far as the Oscars go. Hopefully next year will go. And then also there was a rumor that was going around online about maybe they would drop the very last trailer to Avengers Endgame. And I know that it was just a rumor, but I did go in thinking, hey, maybe I'll get this and I'll be really, really happy. And we didn't get that, and I am disappointed, but that's my own thing. But they did show 2 TV spots. One was a Captain Marvel TV spot that I had never seen. I actually thought that one was really good, and it made me more excited about the movie. And then they had another one for Lion King, which I was excited about when I saw that they were putting it on. But then afterwards I was just like, okay, you just took the exact same scenes from the first trailer and just moved them around a little bit, and I was very disappointed in that. I was hoping to at least get a couple new glimpses, but I don't know, just again, overall, I was okay with it. Now, I do actually want to see how I did as far as the nominations, so I've got all my stuff on my computer right here. For visual effects, I did not get it. I had predicted Avengers Infinity War, but First Man got it, and hey, that was one of the ones I was okay with. I'll get into it whenever I get around to doing a review for First Man, but I thought that the visuals were outstanding, especially because you could barely tell that they were using visual effects pretty much all the time. Best film editing, I was thinking that it was going to be Black Klansman, because of, well, just, I thought that most of the editing choices were okay, and some of them were very artistic. They didn't work for me, but I know that for some people they did. And I knew it wasn't going to be Vice, because this category is best film editing, not most film editing. But it ended up going to Bohemian Rhapsody, which was completely fine. I was completely okay with that. For best costume design, I had picked Mary Poppins Returns, mostly because, when they're in that animated world, I just really loved their costumes for those sections especially, so that was my pick. But Black Panther ended up winning, and I was okay with that in the long run. It made sense. Best makeup and hairstyling, again, we already knew it was Vice. I got that one, luckily. Best cinematography, got Roma. That was already obvious from the beginning. It's such a beautiful movie. Production design, I got that. It was Black Panther. It was extremely obvious what it was going to be. Best sound editing, I had picked A Quiet Place. Now, I still believe that for both sound editing and sound mixing, that movie should have been nominated for sound mixing as well, and had won both of them. But sadly, that was not the case, and I didn't win in that one. That one ended up going to Bohemian Rhapsody, which in the long run, I actually get it, especially because they had to interlay Freddie's voice into the music, which that part I do understand. For best sound mixing, I had picked First Man. It ended up being Bohemian Rhapsody. I was fine with that. Shallow won for Best Original Song, and I'm looking at this because at that moment I was just like, you know what, if Lady Gaga does not get her Oscar for Best Actress, you know what, she still got an Oscar, I don't care, I'm still happy, and that performance that she did with Bradley Cooper on stage, that was just simply magical. That was a magical performance, and it was my favorite moment of the entire night, besides one speech that I'll touch a little bit on later. For Best Original Score, the one that stuck with me the most throughout the year was Mary Poppins Returns, which is what I picked. It ended up going to Black Panther. Whatever, I'm fine with that. I didn't think that the score was... Personally, for me, I didn't think that the score was very different from most other movies. Like, it was different in a way, but it didn't, like, hook me. It wasn't memorable after I got out of the movie. So there's that. Foreign film, it was obviously Roma, and that movie I had pegged for Best Picture, despite the fact that I didn't actually think that it was worthy of that. Best Animated Feature, it was Spider-Man. I was happy about this, because I absolutely love Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think that it was one of the best movies of last year, top 3 without a doubt. And I was actually kind of pissed, because during the ceremony, when people were clapping, you could tell not many people were clapping, and Mallory looked over to me and asked, why, do they think this is just some kind of joke, or something along those lines? I don't remember the exact wording she did, but the way that I look at it is that the best animated feature category is not important, really, when you look at it in the long run. It's basically like like when they were trying to put in the popular film category, a lot of people, including myself, were complaining about the fact that it basically meant, hey, if these popular films, you know, are in this, then that basically means they'll never be good enough for the high tier one. It's basically just a participation award. I look at the Best Animated Feature Oscar as a participation award. Now, I'm glad that Phil Lord and Chris Miller have an Oscar. That's awesome. But again, it feels like a participation award to me, and I don't like that. I wish they would just take it away and then actually take all of these different films and put them all together. And hey, you know, there needs to be more inclusion in the Best Picture for genre films and animated movies, because there's only been like 2 or 3 that have been nominated as far as animated pictures for Best Picture. Only a couple like that. Best Adapted Screenplay, I got that. It was Black Klansman. I was very happy with that. I just knew it was going to happen. I was a little mad during Spike Lee's speech, because while I love him, he was talking about how we need to focus more on love than hate, and yet he has always been upfront about how much he hates our president, and just focusing on the future election. And I don't know, whether you guys, any of you guys watching, regardless of your views on politics, or whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or wherever you are on the spectrum, it doesn't matter to me. I'm here as a film fan, and I personally don't like when people take this kind of event, that's the Super Bowl to me, and focus on something other than movies like politics, because I don't care. I want this ceremony to be all about art and movies and culture, not this political bullshit. Anyway, let me get back to it. Best Original Screenplay, I had picked The Favorite, but Green Book got it, and that was one of my favorite movies of last year. I was very happy with that, and I was surprised that it actually got that after all of the controversy around the story and everything that Don Shirley's family had said about the movie and the portrayal of Don himself. So I was really impressed and surprised by that. And then, Best Supporting Actress, I had gotten this from the get-go. Regina King won it, and it was awesome. I feel like there was something, I don't remember the speech, because for some reason, they started off with the Supporting Actress category. That was the first one that started, so I don't remember everything about what she said, but I'll overlook it. For Best Supporting Actor, I had picked Sam Elliott. He did not win. I was fine. Every single person in this list, all 5 people, I was completely okay with winning, because they all did a great job. Mahershala Ali ended up winning his 2nd Oscar, and this was just his 2nd nomination. This just shows how great this guy is, and I can almost guarantee, like, if I had to do an over-under and I had to set a bar, I would say, I'm willing to go 60%, over or under. I'll take the slight over, with him actually getting nominated again within the next 2 years. I have no doubt about it. Whether it's, Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor, I bet we can see him again, and he may even, just because of how good he is and how his track record has been, maybe he can win again, and that would be amazing. For Best Actress, I still picked Lady Gaga, and again, as I said, because she won an Oscar for Shallow, I was okay if she didn't win, and Olivia Colman won for The Favorite, her first Oscar nomination, and she got it, and watching her acceptance speech was so amazing. I loved how flustered she got, and it felt so real. It wasn't scripted, and you could tell that it wasn't scripted, and it was just a beautiful thing. I love whenever they they improv, and it seemed like they were doing it with the majority of the bigger categories, especially with the acting, directing, and Best Picture. But hers was awesome, and I was just so happy for her. I was happy that I used to call her Yalitza, but I guess it's Jalitza or something like that, the girl from Roma. I was glad that she didn't win, and I had even read some reports that some journalists who had friends in the Academy, they had all said that because of the importance or the historical significance of, you know, if she had won an Oscar, the girl from Roma, if she had won it, that would basically create a new record for somebody. You know, the first indigenous person to win an Oscar, and that basically means that she's native to that area, and also she's not a trained actress. My understanding was that she was just found by the director, and he was just like, I wanna find somebody who's not an actress, who's actually from this area. And personally, I touched on it a little bit in my Roma review, but I didn't like her performance for the most part. I do not think it was Oscar worthy in any way. Like, the majority of the film was just her with the exact same facial expression, just looking around and not doing anything. I wasn't transformed. If anything, she took me out of the movie way too much, until that one scene where I thought, okay, this is amazing. And honestly, I'm just glad that she didn't get nominated. For Best Actor, I had picked Christian Bale, and over the past couple weeks, I will be honest, I've been bouncing back and forth, because with the Bohemian Rhapsody one, I had picked Rami Malek originally to be the end-all, be-all winner, and then I saw Christian Bale's performance, and that was another transformative one, and I was just, I don't know, the character had said some stuff involving some stuff at the end of the movie, with no spoilers, that actually spoke to me, and maybe that kind of influenced my decision, but hey, I chose Christian Bale to win, and you know what? I lost, I don't care. Rami Malek now is known as Academy Award winner Rami Malek, and that was amazing, and I loved his acceptance speech. I thought it was just downright amazing. And then I picked Alfonso Cuarón. They said it a certain way in during the Oscars. I always said Cuarón, or Alfonso Cuarón. I don't remember how they pronounced it, so I'm not even going to try. But yeah, he won. I saw that coming. This is his second directorial Oscar, but he's won, like, I think 4 just in one night, which is impressive. Very impressive. And Best Picture, as I'm sure you guys remembered when I did my winner predictions, I had said that Roma was going to be the Best Picture because of all the different bits of hype that it's pretty much gotten around it. Or, like, I had even thought, wait, what if Black Panther ended up being the winner? It would be a laughingstock, really. But Green Book actually won. It's the safest... It's the safest answer, as my wife put, and I do agree with her, but I'm still okay with it. And this is actually me quoting her indirectly, but she mentioned that it was probably the safe bet because of all the controversy around a lot of these. I mean, the controversy that Black Panther is just an easy one to throw in there to show, hey, we're not... You know, we're not discriminating against popular films, and then I don't know, a few of them. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But basically, it was just one of the least controversial ones, and one that you know, a lot of people haven't started attacking as much as some of the other ones. And sure, it did get a little bit of an attack on it, but honestly, this made more sense to me, and I'm actually happy, but in the end, I feel like this year's Oscars were a bit iffy. Just more down the middle, but I still had fun in the end, and I got excited whenever people won. I never got mad about anything. and which is funny because usually for these, if it's something really stupid, I start yelling, and then you know, our house actually shares a wall with the house next to us. Like, there's a intersecting wall, and so if I had screamed, they would have heard me, and then she would have, Mallory would have looked at me and chastised me because I'm an idiot, but I wouldn't have blamed her for that. I still had fun. I'm hoping that the next year it'll be better. I'm hoping that things actually do improve in the Academy. I personally think they either need to get their act together, or they just need to, the Academy needs to put in like a vote of no confidence, quoting Star Wars Phantom Menace, putting in a vote of no confidence with the board, because a lot of the decisions that they've made in the past year have just made them look like a laughingstock. I don't know how the TV ratings are this year. Hopefully it'll be maybe a little bit better, but they still need to make changes if they're going to survive. And they need to focus more on this actually celebrating film instead of being some big-ass advertisement scheme, or just, I don't know, feeling like it's pandering to the people who don't watch the, you know, the majority of the movies that are nominated, by putting in a bunch of popular movies that maybe don't deserve it. But I kind of wish that I had taken a little bit of time to actually like make show notes and put in points, but I just wanted to get this, like, all of my thoughts out of the way really quickly and just throw them in. But yeah, this is my feeling after after the Oscars. I'm happy that I ended up watching it, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I could have possibly not watched it and still got about the same amount at the end. So I can't I can barely speak. But yeah, that's all of my thoughts on all of this. Hopefully, again, it'll be better next year, and I hope that they get their heads out of their ass. So anyway, I do want to know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. What did you guys think of all the different nominees? How the show went, or maybe even what they need to do to make things better in the next year for the 92nd Academy Awards. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Farewell until the next video, and you guys have a good day.